and Frank Santos Jr., the hypnotist. And it's really a great show if you've never seen it. What Frank does is he gets the audience to like fall asleep, and then Frank Santos comes out and makes them do funny shit. The whole show is just captivating. I knew Frank would be the perfect host for this evening for a couple of reasons.
It's my roast.
Who gave this guy a microphone? Give Charlie a microphone. I swear to Christ he's going to use it. But I digress. I knew Frank would be the perfect host for this evening for 3 reasons. Frank and Charlie have been friends for many years. Going back many years. Frank is a professional MC with years of experience behind him. The third reason, the Cardi brothers were not taking my phone calls. It was either Frank O'Donnell or the annoying blonde from the Bob's Furniture commercial. And she wanted me to buy a freaking bed. Oh my goodness. I'm glad that Frank has a place to do comedy here in Rhode Island. I am. The only time agents call him now is when they want his help getting out of a speeding ticket. Would have been funny if his brother, the cop, was here. Oh, before I forget, a few minutes before the show, I received a text message from Mrs. Chafee who informed me the governor is on his way to the roast. He's out looking for a bag of marshmallows right now. And it should be in. I have to apologize. We originally intended to have the speakers up here on the stage, but the fire marshal came through this afternoon and said we had to leave plenty of room for Charlie's ego. Frank already introduced the dais. What a disappointing group of people we assembled. Is this the best we could do to honor a man who has given us so little and charged us so much to see it? My job this evening to not only roast Charlie and welcome him into the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame, but also to praise the people who have shown up tonight to pay homage to him. For example, Gene Valicenti is with us on the dais. Gene, how are you?
Great, good.
See over there in the dark. Gene, I have a question. What the hell has happened to you? I recall when Gene first got to Rhode Island 20 years ago, he was a tough, kick-ass investigative reporter. The man won awards for compelling, no-nonsense, controversial reporting. A couple of weeks ago, I saw him on the news counting porta-johns in Newport for the St. Patrick's Day parade. Again, I ask you, Gene, what the hell has happened to you? You were a kick-ass investigative reporter. Now you've morphed into this thing. You're Doug Light is what you are. It's a roast. Too soon? Turn on Channel 12, you'll see Tim White inside the Mafia. Turn on Channel 10, you'll see Gene Valicenti inside the shithouse in Newport. My friend Bruce Calvin, the magician, is here tonight. How are you, Bruce?
Great.
I know you're over there. And this is a big kick for me, too, because those of you who don't know Bruce, he's been a nationally performing magician for almost 40 years now. And he's really good. I remember when I was a little kid, I was like 8 years old, I saw Bruce's show at the old Dalton Theater in Pawtucket. Remember that, Bruce?
I do.
When you worked with your sister?
Yeah.
It was really something for a kid to see. That day, Bruce made 3 rabbits and 5 first graders disappear. My old radio friend over there, Mike Sheridan. Hi, Mike.
Hello, Joe.
How are you?
Good.
It's good to see you. Mike and I worked together when we were both at B101 and Pro FM. Now Mike does a show at WOON AM in Woonsocket. Mike, I ask you, what the hell happened? I was listening to your show yesterday until the aluminum foil fell off my antenna. WOON is so low powered they have to call AAA for a jump every morning. Speaking of low power, Mayor Leo Fontaine is with us from Woonsocket. Give him a round of applause. I can't say that. Yes, I will. Mr. Mayor, I've heard you're all over the media, which I kind of like. You take pride in your city. I hear you're going to open up a Two Flags in Woonsocket soon. I know you're proud of your city. Woonsocket is the first city in the country to start summer school while there's still a threat of snow. Charlie, like that. One of my dearest friends and one of Rhode Island's top headlining comedians is here with us this evening, and so is Ace Aceto. Hey, stand up and take a bow. I was going to say, stand on a chair and take a bow so people can see you. If you've never seen Ace Aceto, be sure to catch one of his shows. What he does, he takes 40 minutes of clean, clever material and somehow manages to make it completely not funny. He was the only comedian on the dais to be offered crayons at his table, ladies and gentlemen.
He looks young.
He's the young guy. When I wrote this shit, we were all supposed to be up here. It's in Seth MacFarlane's will, because Ace is also a master impressionist. That's why it's in Seth MacFarlane's will that if he should die during the production of Family Guy, and they need another Stewie, Ace is the 77th in line to be interviewed for the gig. You'll have to do a Stewie up there. Kitty Litter is here with us tonight. Hi, Kitty Litter. Or as I like to call her, that terrible drunken mistake I made in 2007. You haven't lived till you've woken up with 150 pounds of kitty litter on you. Can't even look at her. So ashamed. Kitty Litter will be appearing in a new Charlie Hall television-based reality show this summer called Drag Races. This is true. It's a weekly 5K. 10 drag queens compete wearing gowns and high heels. One of the funniest comedians from the Rhode Island old school of comedy could not be with us tonight. Filling in for him is comedian Rick Beretta. Rick, take a bow. I want to thank Rick for giving up a night of loneliness and obscurity to be here with us this evening. I, like you, have no idea who he is, but Frank was nice enough to tell me before the show that I've known him for 28 years. I've performed with him numerous times, and he's very funny. I met Patty Nolan and Beth Giamacco for the first time tonight, and I still have fonder memories of our time together than I do of comedian Rick Beretta. All right, let's forget about the has-beens on the dais. Let's turn our thoughts to the man of the hour, Charlie Hall, shall we? Well, as he's known to every comedian under the age of 30, who? It was tough to convince Charlie to do this roast. When I called him and told him I wanted to induct him into the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame, he told me it would conflict with his new project, the Charlie Hall of Fame. Charlie's still active, though. He's still producing unfunny shows. If you haven't seen his production, Misgivings, I highly recommend it. It's a show about a fake priest. And it's realistic. It's so realistic, Charlie is being sued by 13 fake altar boys. Charlie's let his little baby go. He closed production of the Ocean State Follies. Charlie decided to start production of the Follies after a lot of thought, and no ticket sales. It takes a true artist to know when it's time to move on from a project. That's why the Ocean State Follies ran 19 years, 6 months too long. Here's a story not many people know. Early in Charlie's career, he appeared on the TV talent show Star Search, and he lost. After the show, Ed McMahon put his arm around Charlie and said, "Look, I know comedy, and you're funny. Mark my words. If you're not world famous in 5 years, I'll die broke and homeless." It's a roast! It is too soon. It's funny. On Star Search, Charlie was beaten by half a star, but enough about Gene Valicente. Continue on with the roast. Charlie's named his new show Mass Hysteria. The critics saw it, named it Mass Exodus. Charlie is already working on his retirement show. He's a busy guy. Don't forget to catch Charlie at age 90, starring in his final production, Miami Mayhem. Like many comedians, Charlie gave me my start in stand-up comedy and encouraged me every step of the way. Charlie, if it weren't for you, I probably would have gone on to college and made something of myself. Charlie Hall has hired me a bunch of times over the years to perform stand-up, and he was always very encouraging. Every time I had a bad show and wanted to quit, he said those 4 little words that kept me going back. I forgot your check. Charlie, as we know, is very politically connected in Rhode Island. I knew the state was corrupt when Charlie's song was chosen as the official state song. Come on, let's face it. Charlie is to songwriting what Bruce Sunland was to songwriting and what Lincoln Chafee is to governing. It was time for the Follies to go, Charlie. It was getting stale. Getting more and more stale every passing year. Charlie was the inspiration behind Chafee's 2% unfunny tax. I wrote that just for you. I knew you'd like that one. The Ocean State Follies were so old and tired, Don Bosque asked you to knock it off. And that's coming from a guy who draws his cartoons with a quill. If people want to see something tired and unoriginal about Rhode Island, they can always read Mark Patinkin's column. Patinkin's not here this evening. I just don't like him very much. See, this is a new concept in roasting, where you talk about people who aren't here. But I digress. The Follies. The last 12 months of the Follies sucked. It sucked. The last show was so unfunny, Jim Langevin got up and walked out. If you want to watch something more entertaining than the last year of the Follies, I believe we still have some video footage of that woman getting kicked in the face outside in the parking lot. By the way, the woman in that video saw Mass Hysteria last week. She kicked herself in the face. Charlie Hall is eccentric, arrogant, egotistical, and conceited. I created the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame to honor those who have made outstanding contributions to comedy in Rhode Island. And I couldn't have made a better choice than to make Charlie Hall the first inductee. He's one of the funniest men I know, and he's so deserving of this evening. Charlie, I just want to say it's been an honor to know you, and I hope you never stop doing what you're doing. And I hope we're friends for at least another 30 years. Enjoy your night.
Thanks.
Dr. Frank O'Donnell.
Rockin' Joe Hebert. Jim Langevin got up and walked out. And when they find Joe tomorrow in Pawtucket, with wheelchair marks all over his body, you guys don't know nothing. And by the way, those